Alright, so this video is going to be on grep. And grep directly relates to what we were just talking about with Vim. So in Vim, we were looking at the advanced ways to search files, and we were using regular expressions. Grep is a command line tool that allows you to do the exact same thing, only upon multiple files. It allows you to recursively dig down through directories and find more matches instead of just the file that you're currently editing. It's incredibly powerful and really useful and comes up all the time. We're not going to get into everything with grep or regular expressions. I'm just going to teach you enough to be a reasonably functional system administrator. All right, so let's open up a terminal, and just to make things interesting, let's cd into /etc. And if I type ls, these are all the files that are there. Clear that. So if I want to use grep, I type in grep, and whatever I want to search for, I usually put inside single quotes. I'm going to search for the word bash. Now, an important thing about grep. The search term does not necessarily have to go inside single quotes. However, grep is funky with its search terms, and so it's easier to clearly put it inside single quotes every time. And I'm going to hit star. I'm going to glob all files. So this is saying I want you to search all files in this directory for the word bash. That's what I'm saying here. And you see I get a whole lot of, hey, this is a directory, all those error messages saying I can't search those. And then it's telling me, hey, in the file profile, I found it on this line, right here. It found it here. In the file profile, I also found it on this line, etc., etc. Up here in the password file, it found it here. But the first thing we want to say is, hey, that's a lot of garbage data that just makes it harder for me to read what I really want. What I really want to know is what files have this search term and where, right? What does that line look like? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run that command again. By the way, don't retype that command. You should be following along, but don't retype that command. Hit the up arrow. And I'm going to add the -s switch. And now when I run it, you see all of those lines before, those error messages are gone. And it's just showing me the files that it was found in, and a colon, and then it shows me what the line contents are. So -s is for suppress, and you almost always want to use suppress if you're searching throughout, multiple files. Particularly if you're not root, because if you're not root, you'll get a ton of messages saying you don't have permission to look at that file, right? So always use -s. Some other switches you want to be aware of. -e is a very common one. -e is for extended regular expressions. We're not going to use that in this one. Extended regular expressions really aren't extended. It just makes the syntax a little bit different, a little bit closer to what you see in Vim, right? For our purposes, we don't care. So we're not going to use -e, but you will see that a lot in examples. -w and -x, you also see that. Let's run this again. And I'm going to add the -w switch. And you see right off the bat, it's shorter than it was before. It's showing me from shells, from profile. Let's see if I can find where wasn't it. All right, so if we look up here, we see that in Samba share, when we originally ran this command without the -w, it showed us that inside the grouped file, it found Samba share, and inside gshadow, it found Samba share. But we do not see that when we run it with the W, because W means match the whole word. That is, when I search for bash, you have to find bash as a word, which means it checks on the ends of that phrase for spaces, periods, slashes, things that would delineate a word, right? So all of those are showing up in our second search here, right? We can find bash as a whole word here, bash as a whole word here, etc. But in that first file, Samba share happened to have the word bash inside Samba share, and that's why it was catching that. So the -w only matches the whole word. The -x, which I'm not going to show you, but the -x matches a whole line. So if you want to match an entire line, use the -x keyword, or excuse me, switch. And the other most important switch that you need to know is -i. -i makes the search case insensitive. And I don't know if anything new comes up for that. This line would not have been matched up there because this has bash in all capitals, right? Whereas what I search, the string I searched for is bash in all lowercase. Okay, so those three switches, I, W, and S, are the most important ones. Those come up. Those come up all the time. Those are the most important ones in determining what your search parameters are. The other most important switch that you want to know is $R. And it's taking a very long time because that is forcing it to recursively search in all of the different subdirectories. So everything under etc is being searched right now. And you see it's coming up with a whole lot of things under the skeleton directory, under the run control directory 0, 1, 2, 3. So it's showing me all these different files from all these different subdirectories. So $R is recursive, and it means search all the way down. So if you wanted to search the entire file system, what I would do is I would just put a slash there, and this says search the entire file system. We're not going to do that because that takes forever. But that's usually what you want to do with grep, is you want to search not just one particular file or one particular directory, you want to search everything. All right? So we've gone over the switches that you use for for grep, but what about the actual regular expression itself? Let's take a look at a couple other options we could put into our bash search. So let's go ahead and remove that $R. We're not going to do a recursive search. We're just going to search inside etc. Let's put a $sign at the end and search for bash. And what do you notice? This only matches lines where bash is at the end of the line. So in regular expressions, the $sign indicates the last character of the line, the end of the line. So if you're looking for something that's only at the end, you use the $sign. If you're looking for something that's only at the beginning, you use that caret, right? And it's not going to find anything because there's no line that starts with bash. Let's go ahead and change our search term then. Let's search for root, right? And we see there are a few lines that start with root, all right? Now suppose we want to, let's change it again. Let's get rid of the beginning character and let's just search for root. And we see that it finds root in a lot of different files, right? There's root all over the place. What if we want root and then we want the word root to end with a certain character, right? Let's say that we want root to end with D or S, or no, F, because I know those are in there. And apparently only D. So let's do this again. Let's do grep. We're going to do it case insensitive. We're going to suppress the warnings, and we're going to search for root and then we're going to put a D and F at the end, and we're going to search for star, and you see it shows us in services there are 2 lines that start with root D, and in M tab there's one that starts with root F. What we did there was we created a character class. That is, when you use the square brackets, you're saying match any of this, anything that matches this. The most common thing you want to do is put a bunch of characters in there that you were searching for, or you can actually do 0 through 9, and there's nothing that starts with 0 through 9, or you can do A through Z, and it matches any alphabetic character, lowercase character. But you create a character class, and it says for this one spot, match this character class. What if we want to match any character, right? Let's go ahead and change this. Let's get rid of the character class, and let's say that inside here, I want to match any character, just like with Vim regular expressions, you use the dot to match any character. And we see that this matches root, and notice it also matches this right here, right? ES matches the dot. And then, yeah. So if we want to match any character, we use the dot. If we want to match something 0 or more times, do you guys remember what that is? That's the star, right? The star character says whatever character is right in front of it, match it 0 or more times. In this case, right in front of the star is a dot, so it's going to match anything 0 or more times, which is basically anything that starts with an R, it's going to match that line. A little quirk with grep that's different from Vim. Do you remember the character, if you want to match it at least once? That is the plus sign, which is going to give us the same result here, but the key thing is you have to do a slash in front of the plus sign. You have to escape the plus sign for that to work in grep. Grep almost matches the regular expressions in VI. There's just a couple little differences like that. And yeah, that's basically everything you need to know about grep, right? The most common switches, the most common regular expression options, that's everything you need to know about grep. The most common switches and the most common regular expression options that come up. Grep is a very powerful tool. You do not need to be an expert in grep for this class, but it is something that's going to come up, right? You will be searching for certain terms. And it's super powerful because remember, in Linux, everything is a file and almost everything is a text file, and grep can search through all of those text files. All right? If you have any questions, let me know.